We are live. Ken, how you doing?
It's a great Thursday, bud. How are you?
Busy, 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 busy. Crazy, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. We were just talking about this earlier. The amount of conversations compared to the amount of transactions, just a ton of thoughts that people need to get right and possible ideas. Go back, digest it, come back, talk about it again, and figure out the right moves. So a lot of phone time.
Well, in order to get a mortgage, you got to have credit, right?
That seems to be at the top of the list of what we're talking about lately. So there you have it.
So believe it or not, we do run into people that don't have credit or need to get credit quickly because they haven't used credit in the past. There's many folks still living out there that want to continue to do things paying in cash and not have any credit. So when you run into one of these consumers, give us a little feel for how that goes and what their story is or their reasoning behind, I just don't want to use credit.
People that's come out and say, I don't want to use credit, the vast majority of the time, it's come because they had a problem with it in the past. So instead of moderation, it's I'm cutting the head of the snake off and I'm not touching that stuff again. That solves my problem. I am smooth sailing until something comes up that reminds them that it is needed.
So usually car loan, is that even stopping people right now? Are they able to get a car loan?
Yeah, they're able to get a car loan. So,
Okay.
Fortunately, car dealerships and people need to sell cars in order to generate revenue. So car loans are available. You just may not like the interest rate that's associated with that.
We can hide that in the payment.
It's just the payment. Forget about the 12 years.
Remember when we were doing, I remember when it went from 48 months to 60 months, and that was a huge
big deal.
Right. Now 72, 84 months, not uncommon. Okay, so first time buyers are typically the ones that are struggling with this credit piece. And when I'm thinking of the age bracket that you and I are in, first thing I think about is our children. So I have 22, 19, 15. You have 22, 19. We started early with our girls, getting them prepped. Talk to me a little bit about that, what we did early on.
Yeah, what we did was got another card that was associated to a credit account that we already had and signed up our daughters as authorized users on that credit card. So they didn't just go use the card, the family card out of dad's wallet. We said, no, we need the kid to have a card. We're going to get their information of record with that creditor. I'll use my example. It was Capital One. Gave them all of their information so that now my credit card gives their credit report some history. And it wasn't just from the time that she started using that new card. She got the history for the entire existence of that account, which was substantial in a short period of time.
Because you old.
Good point. How were you using credit 6 years before you were born? That's a good question.
That's hilarious. Okay, so this is the authorized user component, and you guys out there with kids, I know it's scary though, right? I mean, good Lord, they have their own credit card and it has their name on it, and they're out there, they can do some damage, right?
Yeah, but it's no different than what they were going to do if they were asked for mom and dad's card to begin with. So there is a little bit of maybe discretion that they have. But with alerts and monitoring on the expenses, I found that it was pretty easy to keep track. A couple phone calls were about 4 minutes after they rack up. Did you just spend this? I don't even think that I finished the trend. How did you know? So yeah, yes, there's some risk, but I don't think it's that great.
Well, I love what you're saying though, is it opened up the lines of communication between dad and daughter about credit, how to use it appropriately, and realize that yes, the bill comes once a month, but that doesn't mean we talk about it once a month.
So here was the thing your daughters probably said to you. It's like, Dad, get off my back. I've got a debit card. And, our conversations, at least
Totally.
with my kids, the debit card's bad for two reasons, in my opinion. One is it doesn't give you the credit reporting history, which is what we're talking about, right? The second thing is, hey, if that card gets lost or stolen, it's much easier to dispute a transaction than it is to go back and get your money back. So you've got a creditor in the middle of that it's their money until it's paid back. That provided some peace of mind for us. But there were a number of conversations. Most of it was probably because she was maybe trying to hide a purchase or two, but that there were a lot of chat about that difference between the debit card and the credit card.
That's great information. And yes, it totally makes sense. I have to sign up my son. So he's 15. He's going to get a card into his name at 15, piggyback, do the authorized user route. But the 22-year-old, when she was 21, she bought a vehicle in her name with her credit that she had, worked on for 4 or 5 years. And she's off and launched, and she's out into the real world where she could apply for a mortgage and technically has credit there that will allow her to do so. I mean, depending on all the other factors, the credit's there. So authorized users, you get to use the previous history of somebody who's obviously picked somebody that's paid on time, right? That has good credit. We don't want to pick somebody that has bad credit history. I'm going to share my
and it's
screen.
ideal not to have that account be one that has large balances consistently, so that if you're using that, you don't want that to be a drag. Yes.
Okay, great. So sign an authorized user, that's what we're talking about. Use it like a debit card. Charge your stuff, charge your information, or charge what you're trying to buy. You don't have to only pay this card once a month. You can pay twice a month. You can pay once a week, make payments to it to keep that balance low. Check your credit report once a year. We're going to help everybody do that. We have the soft credit pull. It costs you nothing. We'll go in, pull it. It gives you all 3 credit bureau scores. It's everything the same as a hard credit pull, except it does not lower your scores. Now we get to this, start with a secured credit card. So that's like the second option, option number 2, to get quick credit history in your name. So you would go down this secured route if you could not go and find an authorized user route. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're going right down the line. That's perfect. So what a lot of our people are having a problem with is if our score, when we try to help them, isn't sufficient due to the inactivity, credit card companies are going to have a hard time saying you're a good credit risk as well. So it's between a rock and a hard place of, I know I need to get credit, but how the heck do I do it? If you don't have somebody that you can be the authorized user, the secured credit card is fantastic. From a lender side of things, you, the consumer, are giving me, the lender, the money, and I'm going to let you borrow against that. But at least I know my risk is minimal because you're borrowing money from yourself. Me, the creditor, is just going to report that to the credit bureaus. to give you some help or some traction there. So it's a great option that comes up in conversations consistently. And it's not just, newer credit. Sometimes we've had people that no issues in the past. They've just decided that the credit, it's just gone away. And they, like you said, gone to a cash existence.
Yep.
And they've even had to do that to get it jump started again.
We have a question. All right. Jill says, do the kids need to use the authorized card or just get one in their name? You want to take that?
That is a good question. I know my kids used mine or our account. But I think as long as they're on it, it's reporting whether they use that individual card or not. So I think you're good if you're just on the account.
Okay, so if you get an authorized user account, you get a physical credit card in the kid's name, correct?
It's in the kid's name or their names on the card.
Their name's on the
Correct.
card, and then it goes to your account.
Correct.
The charges hit your account, but it will, in my case, it said Olivia Chavez on the card.
Yeah, but when I ran my daughter's credit report, the family balances showed up, not just whatever activity my daughter had done.
Jill, I hope that helps. So you got to make sure mom or dad are paying their credit cards in a timely fashion, so it doesn't whack out the minimum monthly payment if the child is trying to finance something. It might throw their debt to income out of whack if they get a hold of Jennifer Chavez's card. So that's I don't know how Olivia did it, because
watch out, mama.
Swiper quit swiping. Sorry, I cut you off on the secured credit card. So back to that, how do you get a secured credit card? What? Go to Google, you can type secured credit card, right?
For sure. Capital One, Discover are big on that. A couple folks I've even talked to recently, they walked into their bank and their bank could help them with that. So a couple people down in Florida by that office, Fifth Third, had that option for them. So I think there's more opportunities out there than what people think. I know, like I said, the two that come to mind that I see frequently are Capital One and Discover.
Okay, so I'm looking up here. Don't close out old accounts. Don't sign up for every offer you get. Don't be late. Don't carry balances. Don't run up your balances to the limit. That's kind of a different theme. We'll stay away from that for the moment. Is $250? You give $250 and they give you a $250 line of credit.
That's exactly how it works.
$500. Okay.
The interest rate or the interest they charge if you don't clear the balance every month is ugly. And it sort of defies logic why I have to pay so much to be able to borrow money in theory from myself. The critical part though, there is you just can't get a credit score established unless you do it. So back to what you were saying, man, if you want to use that card and you want to pay it down right away, that avoids any finance charge that you would incur. So it really is a no-brainer as far as a way to supplement, enhance, and keep your score moving down the path in the right direction.
Now, have you seen people go out and get 1 or 2 or 3 secured credit cards? Mm-hmm. Will that help them as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of things. So when I'm talking to people, it's like we want to get at least 3 accounts functioning for you. So it gives us some diversity instead of just one account. So the more accounts that you have in the longer period of time, obviously your score is going to go up. But we have one scenario where they did a secured credit card for 6 months. Credit score came in at 725 and they were able to buy a home. And that was the only trade line on their entire credit history. So it's encouraging. Don't be discouraged, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so I'm trying to get the order right. So authorized user, let's go back to the beginning. If you can't get a non-secured credit card in your name, then you got to go a secured route, correct?
Yes.
If you can't get an authorized user, which is the ideal situation, then you got to go see if you can get one on your own. If you can't get one on your own, then you go the secured route.
So the authorized user thing, that is that's like the fast track, right? So if you were to add me to your credit card account and give me an authorized user,
Yep.
it's realistic that 30 days by the time that reports, I've got a substantial credit history in a very short period of time.
And then you may be able to get a second card non-secured in your name.
Correct.
Well, it might not be 30 days. It might be 90. It might be 6
Right.
months. You don't know. But yes, that is a way to,
Speed that up.
fast track.
Right.
like
if you have
fast-
more time, then the secured card, doing it all on your own, not enlisting the help of family, then because whenever we get that, there's always a mild awkwardness about trying to solicit some help from family. And I think a lot of that's overblown because family will help once they ask the question. But we go through that a lot of, I just rather do it on my own. I agree.
Right.
But you want 6 months or you want 60 days, and that may help decide if you really want to go ask for help or not.
So when I say, okay, I want to go shopping for a home now. I'm a first-time home buyer. I've not purchased a home before. I don't have a lot of credit. You're thinking in your head, Ken, I really want to see 3 trade lines of a 12-month history. I'm trying to go back to the history now.
Yes. I mean, that's ideal. That's going to give you a chance to have credit scores that are not only good, but exceptional. So then you're going to be in the best case scenario for interest rates, PMI, if you're not putting 20% down, the most flexible debt to income ratio scenario. So that's the ideal scenario. That's the perfect bucket. But 3 trade lines, 12 months, you should be there if it's utilized correctly.
Now, I've been doing this forever, and so have you, and it still gets a little bit confusing trying to understand trade lines, authorized, secured, who's on what, where the bill's coming. How much should we use that particular card to keep the balances low for the other non-authorized, for the authorized user? So guys, call us, reach out to us. We'll go right into it. Well, first we're going to start with the soft credit pull for whatever individual, whether it's your son or daughter, or it's you or another family member. We'll see, we're going to get a starting spot. We got to get a barometer of where are we at right now. And then this is what we suggest that you do in this order, based on what you're telling us you think can happen. Oh my God, I can't even talk today. But yeah, this is good stuff. Authorized user, secure credit card. Anything else you want to throw in here?
A number of conversations where people are working for or inquired with credit repair companies. I'm only bringing that up because they've spent time there. When we do the call and we do the soft credit report, they have a whole new understanding of it, and they go attack the stuff on their own as opposed to using a service that they're paying for to try and do that. So it kind of reiterates what you said. We got to get a starting point. The soft credit report's the best thing that you came up with in a long time, which is we got to be able to get the information and not have it be a cost to your score or out of your pocket, so that, and not only just once, but 45, 60 days later, let's do it again. Let's see what progress has been made. Because again, there's a man behind the curtain over there pulling levers on the credit scores. You just have to see it to know what's going on.
Guys, you have to have 760 plus credit. You just have to. If you're not at 760 or above, reach out to us. We're going to help you get there. But it's going to make everything that you do easier. Trust us, way easier. You're going to be able to build wealth faster because the cost of borrowing funds in whatever arena you're borrowing in will be lower. and allow you to pay down principal quicker, obviously build wealth faster. That's the name of the game. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this or invite people into our Facebook group so they can see this. And great stuff, Ken.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we'll catch up with you soon.
All right, take care.
See ya.